It's still a little early to say whether Dexter Resurrection is a full-on success. Goodness knows we've had lackluster seasons with strong beginnings before. However, it seems like Resurrection is on the track to finally getting Dexter right. As far as what this season's done so far in nailing the continuing story of Dexter Morgan, the first and foremost upgrade is just figuring out how to bring him back in the first place. While some, like yours truly, legitimately liked the ending of Dexter New Blood, it was not without controversy. A lot of fans felt betrayed by what they felt was a lackluster ending for everyone's favorite serial killer, in which he was seemingly shot dead by his own son. By opening up with a simple explanation that it was the cold that saved Dexter's life, we get a nice, easy introduction to a new era for the man himself. Another strong choice was to move Dexter back to the big city, and not just any big city, the big city. While I doubt anyone felt the show would ever move to New York of all places, it's an inspired decision from showrunner Clyde Phillips, who notably ran the original Dexter for seasons 1 through 4, as well as with Dexter New Blood. The Big Apple is a great hunting ground for Dexter, and starting things off with a rideshare killer is a wise use of the environment. Plus, it gives Dexter a great steady gig that allows him to go out for the hunt. Of course, that hunting appears to be taking a back seat, no pun intended, to the main plot of Resurrection, which involves a consortium of serial killers led by the mysterious billionaire Leon Prater, played by Peter Dinklage. How exactly this will tie into the other big plot, that of Jack Alcott's Harrison Morgan and his own murderous ways, is hard to say. That said, the two threads are likely to converge at some point, and the show is doing a great job thus far at keeping fans chomping at the bit for more. There's also the cameos of it all, specifically those in the first episode, which brought us back to the glory that is the first 4 seasons of Dexter. You got your James Dokes, Miguel Prado, and freaking Arthur Trinity Killer Mitchell all making cameo appearances in episode 1 as figments of Dexter's comatose imagination. Add to that, we also finally get Harry Morgan back as Dexter's ghostly moral compass, which is a huge boon for the series. Harry is an integral part of the Dexter mythos, so seeing James Remar back in the role is a true gift to the fan base. The critical reaction to this new season of Dexter has been somewhat mixed, though the Rotten Tomatoes score sits at a positive 87% at the time of this video. Allison Herman of Variety is one of the dissenting voices, saying, quote, "It's hard to shake the feeling we're watching a higher budget form of fan fiction." Still, others have pointed out that the series might be a bit hokey, but it's also, quote, "fun and pulpy in the way Dexter should be," according to John Kleiman of Inverse. I tend to agree with that sentiment. Resurrection is, it's a silly thing, based around several outlandish concepts. There's Dexter escaping from Iron Lake, Harrison seemingly getting away with murder at a high-end hotel, and Dexter himself joining a club for serial killers. Also, just throwing this out there, dude got through the DMV faster than anyone on the face of the planet has before. That was certifiably bonkers. Anyway, Resurrection is an inherently off-the-wall way of continuing a franchise that really has no reason for existing at this point, which is something else many critics have noted. Still, plenty of them have also made the point that Resurrection is doing what fans have wanted for years, a continuation that not only gives us more of Michael C. Hall's standout performance, but also gives a compelling new dynamic that feels as though it could have been its own standout season of the original show. In short, it feels like a return to form while also going a little zany. But back to New York for a moment. The new setting is more than just a change of scenery, it's also an interesting and symbolic fresh start. It's an iconic metropolis that represents a minor reinvention of the character. It's geographically and culturally distant from his previous lives, allowing Dexter to grow and develop new relationships without being weighed down by too much baggage from previous seasons. Unlike Miami, where Dexter had established routines and familiar territory, or the small-town setting of New Blood where everyone knew each other, New York City offers up a fresh batch of potential targets and countless places to disappear into the crowd. Not to mention, Dexter has to actually adapt to his environment, which we didn't really see before. As we saw in episode 3, it's also got plenty of new places to dispose of a body. While we'll forever miss the slice of life and Dexter's typical ocean dumping ground, it's nice to see him making do with what's around him. Sure, the idea of an abandoned building without any witnesses that also happens to contain a fully functioning furnace is a bit outlandish, but that's sort of the name of the game this time around. Then there's the characters. A mix of new and old dominate Resurrection, with some offering up dignified cameos like Quinn and Masuka, or even the ghosts who initially haunt Dexter during his coma, while others are paving the way for something more substantial. Angel's presence is the most pressing, and with Episode 9 titled Touched by an Angel, it seems reasonable to assume he'll play a major role in Dexter's latest adventure. Then there's Dexter's newest friend, Blessing, a rideshare driver who's perhaps a tad too nice for a New Yorker. If I was a conspiracy theorist, I'd point to him as the secret bad guy. But I know better. This is a show that's just as clumsy as its predecessors, and there's something quaint about that. Along Dexter's path this season is the dinner party full of serial killers, whom Dex will no doubt attempt to take down as a means of following Harry's code. Aside from Dinklage as Leon Prater, there's also such notable names as David Dastmalchian, Neil Patrick Harris, Modern Family's Eric Stonestreet, and Kristen Ritter. This gang of do-badders may be the silliest concept in Dexter's storied history, but that's also what makes them kind of fun. We'll just see whether that fun pans out for the positive or goes the way of Dexter's latter-day seasons. It's also just really cool that this continuation functions almost more like a reboot than a redo, if that makes any sort of sense. As I said, this version of Dexter is a bit outlandish, and that's definitely the tone that Clyde Phillips and his team seem to be going for. This is, after all, technically the 11th season of the show, after 8 seasons of the OG, plus 1 for New Blood and 1 for the prequel series Original Sin. I'd say it's high time that Dex was able to loosen up a bit and tackle some more bonkers material. A group of serial killers who meet up under the guidance of a random billionaire. Oh, and his primary henchman is played by Uma Thurman. That's the kind of nonsense I'm here for. Sure, it does read a bit like fanfiction, but so what? It's a proper retooling of the core concept with just the right amount of absurdity to make it feel fresh. It's Dexter Takes Manhattan. We'll certainly see whether Dexter Resurrection sticks the landing, but the main takeaway I've had so far is that the production team, specifically Clyde Phillips, understands what the audience wants from Dexter. It's not just about a serial killer going around and making murders, it's about a man trying to reconnect with his son and contend with his past, while also being a freaking serial killer. Beyond that, though, is the expectation for something bigger and wilder than any previous season of Dexter, and I think at the very least, that's where Resurrection works and promises to deliver. But hey, what do you think? Is Dexter Resurrection finally getting it right, or is the new season going too far for your tastes? Let me know in the comments, and guys, thank you for watching ScreenRant.